Whoa.
How are we doing, guys? Am I going to fit here?
Oh, I missed what that comment then.
What's that?
It says nothing better than an out of the blue guitar. I thought it said nothing better than a blue guitar. I'm in the blue.
Right, hi guys. How you doing? Hope you're well.
Are we live?
We're live.
Yeah,
I didn't say.
I was expecting
Keep up,
the tune.
Dave. I want to
I was
D-shoot.
expecting the tune.
Dude, we haven't got anything. We don't stream enough.
I'm so excited, I'm throwing my shoes off.
I'm alive,
Is it-
William. Yes.
Is it a really good idea kicking your shoes off in this
Back
heat?
from the wild.
Yeah? Good idea for me.
As
Dave
ever.
Brahms is
Okay,
alive.
guys, if you are listening on headphones, you are going to hear the guitars panned hard left and right. Sorry about that. We are using a slightly different setup with a mixing desk all over there. With literally, there isn't a hole that doesn't have a cable in it. And that means, unfortunately, that's every single, all of the mic preamps are used, plus we've had to use the stereo ins, so the guitars are panned hard left and right. If you're not using headphones, it should be fine. And if you are using headphones, just deal with it. Deal with it, get over it. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to the Guitar Hour, or at least the non-podcast version of the Guitar Hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hope you're all doing very well. Hope you're all doing very well. Yes?
Yes. Yes, we are. We're out of practice. We don't even know what's going on.
Are we warm? It's very warm here. Let's see, who have we got? Fabian, hi. Chris Biggs, hello. Gary, hello.
Neil
Walter.
Doran in Canada.
Nick Wayland, hello. Hello.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, nice to see you guys too. Just another casual stream, guys. Should we start by playing something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do, I'm literally just clicking on the first
Why
one
did you
I
look
see.
at me like that?
Okay,
Yeah.
is that alright?
Yes.
This
Click
says,
away, Tom.
soulful, funky groove, guitar backing track, jam in E minor. I have no idea. That's an advert. Shut up. Also, I hope the sound's working.
Argentina.
It should be,
Cool.
because I tested it, but let's see.
Ah.
Okay, it's in E minor.
Well, Dave, I think
Oh, it
it's
sounds like
your,
it's clipping slightly.
What?
Woo!
Needs to be a little bit louder, doesn't it?
Yeah, I can do it.
Yeah.
What am I turning?
Just the big knob.
Oof, Dave.
Also, do you want to tilt the camera slightly that way? You need to unlock it on the tripod.
Whoa!
It's good to have Bronzy back. I missed the taste. That's it. Oh, just take your level, just a touch there. Just a little bit. Maybe a little bit more. Maybe down a touch. That's alright. Cheers, peeps. I'm joking. Right, babes. Going for clean.
That's an accident.
Got
Okay.
non-conformist.
But I'm going to stick to it.
Okay.
Woo!
Is BB loud enough, guys? Let us know if BB is loud enough.
Was what his love could come up a bit. But I don't know if it-
No, that's for Dan. For Dave.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Okay, cool.
could go up a bit.
I like Blake. Wants everything loud.
It's obviously a guitar player.
Woo!
Yeah, I've missed him.
Oh!
Is this real right now? Yes. Unfortunately for you, it is.
You called it.
Yeah, dude. Who's it?
Woo!
Anyone would think he was in the middle of recording an album or something.
But that was about to break.
Yeah!
It's car crash.
Has anyone got a fire extinguisher? Nice. What was that? You've broken someone down.
Broken something.
Or all those scales are playing.
Oh, what holy scales.
Go through some.
Oh. Woo!
Feathers, how you doing? Oh, it never ends. Oh, where's he going? Where's he going?
Just going to get Dan's.
Can't leave yet.
Oh no, it was your phone.
Oh,
It's on that fell off.
Sorry. Sorry.
Oh, it's your
Didn't
mic.
see it.
Is it your mic? Okay, sorry.
Cool.
That
Hey.
was fun.
Yeah, man. That's like the first guitar I've played for months.
That was pretty good.
Thank you.
For not having played for months, it was pretty good. No, it was really good. Dave,
Sorry about dude.
what are you doing at the moment, Dave?
I am recording my second album, but the reason I'm playing the guitar is because I've been scoring out proper orchestral parts, like
Grown up music.
writing proper music. And
There was a video went up today, wasn't it? Oh, was it
yesterday. So I've recorded a flute player earlier this week, recording horns and trumpet section later this week, and percussion, orchestral percussion. And so I've got along, so I've got to write it all out. What was cool though is when you write the music out as sort of a rock guy, is you go in and they just play it straight away.
Yeah, it's terrifying. Yeah.
You've got this thing. I'd sort of put a whole day aside to record the flute. It's like, oh yeah, I'll sight read it.
Don't know how you found this, but I remember being at jazz college and playing in bands where you'd have ensembles every week, and everyone else, including the bass player, would read everything first go. and the horn players would just read bird shit on the page, just no problem at all. And I just had a nightmare every single time. Yeah. We talked about this so many times, but that's interesting. So those charts that were in the video were handwritten by you?
I've handwritten it all, yeah. Because I started trying to input it into Sibelius, and I'm just like, it's just taking me too long.
I hate using Sibelius, actually. It's a good program, but...
Yeah, so it's much easier. And it's kind of nice to handwrite it. I find it really relaxing.
You'll probably look back on that in 10 years' time, and that'll be an amazing document of that process. Whereas if you'd done it in Sibelius and printed it out, and then you found the file, it wouldn't be.
You get it framed.
So, where are you in the process now?
So all the demos are done. I've almost finished all the scoring, so I've just got a load of recording to do. Drums and bass are down, but then I've got loads of other stuff, like there's a choir that I need to write parts for and record. Need to crowdfund that. Troy Donacliffe from Nightwish needs to play on it, playing Ullum pipes on that, and then I've got to record all the guitars. So none of the guitars done officially.
They're all written, obviously, but
it's all written.
Apart from anything that will be improvised, it's all. Is there anything improvised?
There's quite a bit of improvising on this album. Yeah. This sounds more melodic than the last one.
Is it all in Mixed Lydian Flat 6?
There's quite a lot of Mixed Lydian Flat 6, actually.
Oh, God.
Quite a lot of that, but a lot of it's quite orchestral melodic. But the shred stuff, I've deliberately not done any soloing, because it's not written around the shred, it's written around the melody.
So when you do the choir, are you going to do it the traditional way? You're going to have a whole choir and mic everything up and do it?
Depends. I'm going to crowdfund the album, so if we get enough money, I'm going to do a proper choir. If not, I'll do the good old multi-layering approach and get maybe just get 4 singers and then layer it up.
Okay. And it's turning into an interview. Sorry about that, but it's quite different to the previous album, isn't it?
It's quite difficult to what?
No, it's quite different to the previous album, isn't it?
Yeah, it's more orchestral. So, like with this album, I decided to be quite playful with it, sort of experiment and come to it without, because the first album obviously I had spent my whole life writing the tunes.
Yep.
For this one it's just been more like, I wonder if I can write something in Mixed Lydian Flat 6 sort of thing. I wonder if I can write something in Lydian dominant and use dissonance and use interesting stuff like that.
Do you think there's an element of it, not to take anything away from it, but because it's ever so slightly less personal than the first album, that there's like a slightly different work ethic with it? Because it's not like these tunes that maybe you've written in a certain period of your life that's like, right, I wrote this song when, this significant event happened and I've had it, for 10 years or whatever. And now you're like, now you've almost given yourself a brief.
Maybe. It's been a lot harder to write this album because I've had to sit down and say, I'm gonna take 2 years to put the album out, basically. And in that time I'm gonna write it, produce it and everything. So, but it's been a lot of fun, to be honest, because I've just been sat down and I might spend a day writing, and at the end of it I might like the idea or think, I learned something from that, but it's not good enough to make the record. So one thing really early is getting into this attitude of like, I'm not setting out to write the super song every time. I'm just going to experiment with some ideas, and if it works, it works. If not, it doesn't. Because I kind of started running into corners where I was like, I couldn't string all the ideas together and couldn't get the transitions to work right. And in the end, I just started abandoning stuff really early.
So have you done the thing, when you hear about bands going into studios and it's like, right, we need a 10, 15 album track, but they go in with like 30 songs?
Yeah, I've done that. I've written way more. In fact, I've already got...
Sorry, Dave.
I've got quite a bit of a third album already written, because there's some songs that are really good, but they just didn't fit in the story.
Like they didn't fit the narrative kind of thing.
Yeah, because the album's going to play like as 1 hour-long piece of music, where it's a bit like a symphony where all the keys flow into each other. I could release it all as an hour-long track, but where it goes.
Oh mate, track 1 is so good.
But yeah, but there's some bits, because it's based on Lord of the Rings, that some of the songs are really cool, but they didn't quite fit this, Middle Earth.
What are you going to do with them? Can they be standalone so you can use them for other stuff?
What, the songs I've written for this album?
Well, the ones that, did you say you had some that didn't fit?
Yeah. They'll go on a third album. I've already got.
God, stop being so prolific,
man.
Well, it's not being prolific. It's just like I wrote loads of stuff that wouldn't work.
It's just on the floor.
Still, it's still prolific. But
you've probably written more tunes writing this album than I have in my entire life.
I've written more tunes for this album than my entire life, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've written just so much stuff, and loads of it's rubbish.
But when you've got kids,
Yeah, but so I teach 2.5 days a week, and I spend the other 2.5 writing and doing marketing and self-promotion.
so you actually make time work-wise for writing.
Like religiously, yeah. I write on. I go for a run on Monday and Friday mornings and write till about 2 or 3 o'clock, and then do marketing on Wednesday afternoons. And that's how we roll. That's what you got to do.
I'm disgusted in a good way. It's incredible. So, guys, what? Seeing as people haven't seen us for a while, what you've been doing? None of us use V-Picks, Mr. Aggravator.
No.
I use these. I use two types of picks. Why am I looking over there? I use these Ibanez. These are Ibanez TQ picks that they made for me, which are 1.2 millimeters thick. They're made of this cool material with a grip on that doesn't slip away. I also use Timbertones Jazz Tones picks, which are really, really nice. I've got one in my pocket, but I'm using this for today. What do you use?
I use Dunlop Jazz 3, the floppy ones. It's 0.7.
The bigger one, though.
Is it bigger?
Yeah, the Jazz 3s are the little red ones.
It's a Jazz 3 XL.
Jazz 3 XL. I'm not.
Sorry, guys.
I use the yellow one.
Beautiful.
And it's
Yellow.
0.72 mil. I want to say it's
Oh my
quite
God.
a floppy pick for a shreddy player.
It's like Martin's gone to, for certain things, gone to really floppy, super crazy pointy picks.
You can't argue with
For
Martin.
fast rhythm playing.
Oh,
For
okay.
fast speed picking.
Yeah, I like a bit of give in the pick.
I can't play with them at all.
Oh, can I?
What about you?
This is a Hawk. Is it TB6?
Your
I never get the. Yeah, I never get the.
So
the
you use
ones
Hawk
right.
picks as well? Can I
Yeah.
try it?
This was purple. It's gone a bit green from use, but there you go. Have fun.
You told me that just as you handed it to me.
I've actually asked Robert Hawk Picks to do me some picks to try, so
Yeah.
change may be coming.
That's actually really nice.
Yeah.
You use Hawk picks as well, don't you?
Yeah, last
Hawk
2
picks
years.
with bees on.
Yeah,
I used the little Jazz 3s for years, and they feel too small now.
Yeah, same here. I used to use the little, what were they called? The stubbies?
Little boiled sweet ones.
Yeah, I used to use those for years when I was like super shredding. all
Getting
the
through a
time.
motorway journey.
I used to use the big stubbies with the big dip in them, and then I used to use the little stubbies. I liked them for years, but then I got super into V-Picks, and
It's
now I've stopped
so
using them.
geeky, this thing. The reason I like these picks is that when I economy pick, I do the bump the thumb thing, and it just fits right in the
What?
The bump the thumb.
where you do like that. You go like that,
All right, yeah,
and
yeah.
the pick goes right to the edge of your
Oh
the
my God,
your
really?
knuckle there. Sorry, that's
How do you play like that?
Is that right on the edge?
like that.
Like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So
That's
Oh,
quite
we
a
got
good
a question.
Yeah.
footballers get to their peak late 20s. Do you think it's the same for guitar players?
No.
And would it be hard to get this decent stand if you started playing after that age? That's like 2 questions.
So the first question, no. I don't think guitar players peak in their late 20s at all. That's not because I'm in my late 30s. I just don't think they do. I think...
Oh, I don't know.
I guess it depends what you're doing, though.
I think in certain genres they maybe do, but in others they don't. I certainly don't think jazz guitarists peak in their late 20s.
No.
Or
Depends on your
fusion
metric for using for peak, isn't it? Because I think there's a lot of.
That sounds like a very BB statement.
No, it does. Like how
Define your terms.
Define your
exactly.
terms.
Sarah's been like winding me up about that all the time because every podcast I'm like, you have to define what we mean by it.
Anything. Can I,
She's made up a right little like comedy sketch about the guitar community. It's
gonna
really
be a
funny.
meme.
But yeah,
do you want a cup of tea? Define your terms.
Just made up a comedy
kind of
sketch.
tea?
When do we get to see it?
well, it's not. It's not like
private-
a,
private
it's not
use
like a,
only.
it's not like a.
That's for Patreon fans.
Is it not safe for work?
Amazing.
Where was I? Yeah, but how do you mean peak? Like, do you mean in terms of technical proficiency, in terms of note choice, creativity, of?
You're looking at me. I didn't ask the question.
I know. I think.
Because I would agree with you with some aspects of
Think
like.
about Steve Vai, Passion and Warfare. That
Peaked early.
he could have stopped there. That's his best record.
Yeah, I agree.
But he's
This
a
is one example,
better
right?
guitar player now.
I don't think. Oh man, that's
Let's
too
not
difficult
go there.
territory. Too difficult.
I mean,
Open my mouth.
if you're liking it to the sports thing, it's more technique, isn't it? Like, if you're
Yeah.
20-something absolute shredding the balls off everything, if you get older, you'll slow down a little bit just through sheer motor skills. But
I certainly don't think Frank Gambale peaked when he was 26.
he peaked in his
27.
fashion, maybe.
I think he's a better guitar player now than he was back then. He's a more tasteful guitar player. He's a better composer now than he was back then. Because your learning process. Who's the guy in the black hat?
Oh, that's me.
Dave Drons.
Yeah.
It's bright.
How do we remove the fan?
It sounds like a drone.
Every time.
Take off.
Won't get picked up, will it?
It's Dave Bronze. He's just if you've seen a live stream in the past 2-3 months, he's not been on, but he's usually here.
Yeah.
Normally, Dave is the fourth.
I'm usually downstairs making cups of tea.
Dave's
the beast,
fourth
the myth, the
musketeer.
legend.
Yeah.
So
He's amazing.
There you go.
there you go. I think I'll come next week then.
No.
It's a legend. There's cave paintings of him somewhere.
So
were we
what was
talking
the
about?
second half of
Oh,
the
yeah.
question? Can you get to decent stand if you started playing after that? Well, I didn't start till I was 15. How old were you when you started?
No, they're talking about late 20s.
Late 20s.
Late 20s.
Yeah, I think you can get to a
Definitely.
decent standard. I certainly think there is a major advantage to, well, this goes without saying, there's a major advantage to starting when you're 4, 5.
Huge.
All the guys I know who are the complete and utter freak shows, not all of them, but most of them started when they were very young.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, there's also
sorry. Go on.
Oh, sorry, I was just adding. So, I was 14 when I started playing.
Yeah.
Now, when you say the advantage of guys that started when they were like, 4 or whatever, what can you actually do when you're that age though?
No, it's not that. It's to do with your ears and to do with your ability.
Do you think
to,
it's just
to
like
hear.
pilot hours at that
It's
stage?
just like learning a language. It's nothing to do with the technical
Right,
facility.
okay.
Although, like Dave was saying, before he came on air, Dave said, oh, no problem, Joseph. Thank you very much. We'll talk about signal chain and get Dan to talk about his amp model in a minute, if I remember, or if you remember, Dan.
It's Plexi, it says Brit Plexi
Oh, cool.
NRM.
Is that the model or the preset?
Well, I just took a preset and just like put it over into a user preset so I can
Oh,
mess
is that
with
one
it.
of the factory presets?
Yeah.
Brit Plexi, NRM. As far as like Dave was saying before we came on stream, there was a kid of a friend of his who, or a friend of ours actually, because we know him as well, who can play Under a Glass Moon on drums, and he's 9.
Yeah. It
Like
was
flawlessly.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I just couldn't believe it.
There was
I mean, he can barely reach the pedals.
yeah,
got
actually,
blocks on his
there's a
feet.
much more, even more so than guitar. There's a much more physical thing with drums. I had to do some judging for an Indonesian guitar contest for Ibanez the other day, and there was a kid. I don't know how old he was, but he looked about 11, improvising like unbelievable level on an Ibanez. I think it was some kind of gem from back in the day. It was a custom thing.
Improvising like a 20-something footballer.
Not in a fusion, like a shreddy, balls out kind of way, but just for his age,
I saw that.
it's not like, because he wasn't playing a solo by some other guitar player really well.
That's
He
the
was
thing that usually gets
improvising
missed, isn't it? With youth
stupidly
is
well.
is either they're like really good at emulating something, but it's that sort of musical maturity or whatever that sometimes is missing with younger kids.
You
But
could tell where he was coming from because he was doing all the. How's it go? You know the Steve Vai ones.
yeah.
And he was doing a lot of kind of legato rather than the silly fast pick stuff. But he could do that as well. But to be at that level, he must have started when he was so young. And that's just from a technical perspective. Some of these guys who start when they're that age, the advantage is unsurpassable by the time if you start when you're 15, I think.
But
Or
I think
later.
when I was 15, I used to take my guitar home. I know that within 1 year of playing, because I started in my last year of high school, and I auditioned for Music A level, and I'd worked out For the Love of God by ear and played it. And
How old are you? 7 to 16, 17?
well, I would have been 16. So I've been playing for a year, and I also worked Always With You, Always With Me out by ear and played that for my audition, and that was within 1 year of playing. So I'm not like some virtuoso, but in that first year, I must have just locked myself away with the guitar
Yeah, I
and
was
not
the
done
same.
anything else.
Yeah, I was the
Just
same.
practiced and practiced and practiced. I don't really see much of that anymore.
No, I was 15 when I started, and within a year I was playing Steve Vai and Joseph Triani stuff, and again, that's not because I'm anything exceptional when it comes to my learning. I'm not at all, but I just sat and did nothing but play guitar.
But my mate's kid's the same. He listens to Under a Glass Moon 3 times a day and plays it every single day.
I like this kid already.
And well, he learned about half of it by ear.
Right.
Like that's a level of kind of obsession that you need to be.
I wonder if he's super into that sampled drum sound that Mike Portnoy's got on that.
On that
Because
record.
that's all triggered samples, isn't it? Layered
no,
on
it
top of the...
Yeah, it
something
wouldn't have
like
been triggered back then, would it?
that. I don't know how they did it, but it's all...
Yeah, the snare is just.
I love it, but that's because of nostalgic
Yeah,
reasons.
nostalgia for it. Yeah.
It's interesting, actually. Dream Theater are in the studio right now, aren't they? Did you see the?
No.
They've hired this place in the middle of the countryside where they wrote the album, and they've done a really interesting thing where normally, obviously, Dream Theater now have the budgets to go into serious studios with serious producers and work with engineers, you know, high-end engineers, which they probably have really good producer and engineer, but they thank God for that. But they have converted the place where they wrote the album into a studio because they're going for the vibe of well, the place where they wrote the album. They've got this particular vibe now with the songs and the environment. So they're hoping that the vibe gets captured. I think they started recording a few days ago. So nice. I always get super excited about new Dream Theater albums, and then, well, let's not go there.
Let's not go there either.
For this album, I hired out a studio. It's 500 quid a day, which for me is like a lot of money. Yeah. It's a really nice studio. You got an engineer in all the high-end gear. It does make a difference to how, because everyone felt really happy, and you're just in this nice wooden room, and it's all nice. And some of the guys that the playing, particularly from John on drums, was just
the other thing is
really fantastic.
I have been not that I can do it, but I've been watching a lot of mixing tutorials because I've now got all the Universal Audio plugins. So I thought I'd better learn how to use some of this stuff. And I know a little bit about mixing, but I've been watching a lot of stuff from various people. And one of the things they always say is, if you have really good source material in terms of A, the playing, and B, using really good preamps, really good mics, the mixing almost takes care of itself, and you don't have to do a great deal. So you may find that when it comes to the mixing stage, it's a lot easier to mix than the previous album, which was recorded where?
Well, it was all over the place in people's bedrooms.
Okay, yeah. So
yes,
that album sounds pretty good though.
Oh, it's Dave Bainbridge mixed it.
So he
did a really good job. But just the sound of the room just put up. Anyway, I'm getting geeky now. So there you go. That's that.
Andy, just out of curiosity, with your question, was it you referring to yourself or just generally about the late 20s thing about starting? Is it something that
he says? Is it Andy French?
Andy Lords. No, it's a different one. Andy Lord was the guy that asked the question.
Oh yeah, that's right. So Andy French says, anyway, I'm 55 and hoping to hit my peak in the next 20 years or so. Well, if I never improve again from this point, I'll be a very sad man, to be honest.
I've definitely had like two massively different periods of my life with guitar, and certainly feel like the most, I wouldn't say most have improved, but most have been sort of satisfied has been more recently, and I'm not, I'm getting on now, I guess.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, it's funny. I think I hit a real peak in my late teens, early 20s, where I used to play and practice like 10 hours a day or whatever when I was at the Guitarist too.
Technique-wise, or?
Define
your terms.
Technique. But the funny thing is in the last 5 years, I've abandoned certain things I used to work really hard on. So I've given up on alternate picking altogether. But my technique now is better than it's ever been. It's like really gone up a level. I think just because I've come back to enjoying guitar and also having a reason.
This links into.
Also having a reason to practice because I've got the record and I've had to play loads live, and I'm in a prog band and coming on this show, like where you have to have a certain improvisational ability to not look like a doofus.
Actually, this brings
me CMS for live streaming.
So I think my playing's better now.
This brings me on to
live stream CMS.
Huh? What?
I was just talking about core skill set for live streaming.
He's replied. So I started playing guitar at 17, trumpet at 10. That's interesting. But I only started working on it in the last 10 years, nearly 40 now. That's why GT grade 6, but the shred stuff is a struggle. That's the funny thing, Andy. In fact, this relates really well to what I wanted to talk about today, actually. And the guys will have some input on this as well, as to whatever they feel about it. It's funny how, for guitar players, the shred and technique thing always comes up in such a big way, where it doesn't necessarily so much in other instruments. I had a major discovery about my technique 2 days ago, and it had absolutely nothing to do with legato, alternate picking, tapping, you know, sweep picking, any of those things. When you think about technique, if someone says technique, and we'll do some playing after this, but when someone says technique, you think about the physical technical aspects of the guitar that allow you to execute single line stuff fast and cleanly. Whereas if you're a classical guitar player, that just is not the case at all. There's so much more that goes on. The funny thing is, when you first start playing guitar, and absolutely feel free to jump in on this at any point, when you first start playing guitar, the things that you consider in your technique are finger position on the strings, finger position in the frets.
So are all the notes in a chord rigging?
How clean your chords are, how, like Dan says, whether every note is ringing. And then once you just kicked my iron. Once you, it's definitely not coming back this week. It goes back a long way. Once you get beyond a certain point fairly quickly, you tend not to think about those things anymore. And then you find yourself learning all of these complex chords, and at no point did I ever pay much attention at that point to the cleanliness of the fingering of the chords, how long I would hold a chord for, to kind of the minutiae of how long it should be. So for instance, if I play this is D Dorian played in quartal voicing. So if I play, sorry, if I play something like that, I found out that the other day that I would release the chord too quickly, so I wasn't holding it. If I had it holding it for its full value, I was going.
That's how a lot of really young guitar players play. Like, I mean, you know, 6, 7-year-olds play. You know, like when you play melodies.
Yeah.
First off.
Yes.
It's kind of like, I think it's something to do with maybe they're not using the pick. They kind of go like.
Right.
Rather than.
But the reason
you know what I mean?
for that is because to do this,
You gotta go next
you hear
one
the
speed.
difference.
Yeah, of course.
Now that sounds way less musical. That sounds so much nicer. Now this, and even like earlier on today, I was practicing, and I'll talk specifically about what this is, what I'm talking about in a minute. But I was comping through giant steps. I was just playing around with these chords, and one thing I noticed was, I never ever thought about this before, and this is pure technique. If when I come away from the chord to shift onto the next chord, if all of my fingers maintain contact with the strings, apart from when they can't because they have to physically shift a long way like that. Sorry. Here, I can keep contact with every single string, and the same here and there, but here I have to rearrange my fingers quite significantly. So I'm trying. What I would do before was I would lift away, and again you get this. It's not the same. I don't know why I'm playing an F sharp there. The chords sound so much sweeter. Oh, sorry.
You'll also get I think if you're working on that, you'll also get a greater control of the inner voices as well.
I've noticed a load of things. So that's one of them. I was practicing this. Oh, sorry. Oh no, sorry. I can't remember what I did then. Sorry. Woo! Because when I'm playing this, if I I'm trying to have incredibly consistent finger placement and also hold the chord so that the melody rings.
Absolute masterclass on this. When I first realised this stuff you're talking about and the level of technique involved is that Jonathan Kreisberg, the album One, the solo guitar, that is one of the most incredible displays of technique because it sounds like, honestly, you cannot believe it's one guitar. The level of control between the voices and how it can sustain and maintain melody whilst playing chords in the bass line is just staggering.
Just the, I sort of noticed that the level of inaccuracy that you can have but still make a chord change. Like if I take like a C minor 9, C sharp minor 9, and then I want to shift to this F7 here, and then resolve that to there. So if I go, that is so hard to do well.
Yeah, but
let's say I did that. That is so hard. It's way harder than going.
But this is
which is what people think of as technique.
Of course. But you're going to be, if you're a solo guitar player,
I want to practice that
then that would be more apparent, wouldn't it? That would be what you practice more and you get better at it.
But the funny thing is, so part of the reason why I've noticed this is because doing the duo thing with Martin in front of quite a lot of audiences, I would notice that there were points, say if we were playing Isn't She Lovely, like there, for instance, I just grabbed that chord and my second finger's slightly shy of the G string. Okay. Now, I'm like, I have good technique, but there are moments where there's laziness within my chordal playing, and anything that happens like that, you are far less likely to play musically, you know, to really make a chord sing. And I've noticed the more that I've been practicing, like the way I've been practicing is basically just that I haven't practiced any single note playing for 2 days, and I practiced a lot last night. I've just been trying not to squeeze, just to let each chord ring, to try and be super accurate. And what I'm finding is everything about my chordal playing, and thus, because this is harder to do than single line playing, everything about my single line playing is also improving at the same time. And my musicality is improving. So, and I've never thought about this before. I never practiced this kind of stuff. I would always, when I was thinking about technique, I would always be. That was my technique, you know, that's what I was thinking about. So it's been quite a revelation for me. This might be super obvious for everyone else, but I'm just improvising today. See, I'm not playing any songs. I'm just.
I think she meant the one you first you started off.
This. It's just something I came up with yesterday.
There you go.
It's original.
That's quite nice.
Could be a good album tune.
I like this.
What's that from? That was a bit of Final Fantasy.
Don't ruin it for me.
Oh, sorry.
I've not plagiarised it. What I like about it is it's that combination of super major scale harmony. Super simple, but very guitar-y, very nice. Then some diminished stuff. Why am I looking at the chat? And then, what did I do? Fart.
You have to watch it back.
And then some melodic minor. More diminished. Do you know what chord that is, Bibi? Not like it functionally?
Functionally, that's the 7/9 or rigid.
No, I don't mean what chord. I mean like the function of it. If I go
minor 4.
Yeah, 4 minor.
That little baby meme.
And then this is nice. This is like that classic.
Ooh. It's like jazz Blackbird.
Do you know where, funnily enough, of all the places that I would nick that from, was Tim Pierce.
The session guy.
Yeah, like you wouldn't think.
It sounds like you were only winning.
I love the F7 at the end. Anyway, sorry. So, any thoughts on that? I know you've had some thoughts.
I remember you mentioned this ages ago.
What? No.
You did. I think it was when I was. I think it was when I
epiphany
was.
and forgotten about it.
I think so.
Oh, no.
I think it was when
Getting
I
old.
first joined the band and I was talking about the comping thing. And I think you were trying to move these shapes and he was like, oh man, my accuracy for moving chords around is so shit. This was like 4 years ago though.
Maybe I live in a cycle, and every 4 years it's like, I don't think you've played it, it's like The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Every 100 years Link comes back to defeat Ganon. My job is to defeat my crappy chordal playing.
I think I was trying to do the like.
Yeah, that stuff is a nightmare for me.
Yeah. I think I was
But
trying to do that.
then that's weird, because I can do that stuff, but I can't.
That's
do
one at a time though, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. So I'm sort of 60% of the way, no, less than that, 50% of the way there. But that's not my bag. So should we? Someone wanted us to jam on this track. Is that all right?
What is it? Yeah.
It's in C minor.
That's all you're gonna know.
Saddest of keys.
I think
Let's
this
see what
might
it's
not
like.
be sad. I don't think it's in C minor either. This is quite cool.
I think you
Let's do
definitely need a squelchy auto wire down.
Let me see what I've got going on now.
This is fun. Yeah, man, this is awesome.
Dirty Loops.
I feel like I'm playing Sonic.
That's it, yeah, Sonic.
That's all right, Samarina. What have you got? An octave?
Yeah, I just knocked it down.
Okay. Woo! Now it sounds like Sonic.
Woo! Fucking bad mix. Oh,
Why would you put an advert in the middle of your backing track?
did the...
You've just ruined the track. This is a cool track. Hello.
Hey? I don't know what's going to happen.
Come on, Dan, show us what you
Shall I
got.
see what happens?
Do it. Okay, I need something. I need a
Oh.
gimmick.
I can't keep it going. Try again. Don't know what to do with that. Corey's favourite video game theme.
He's going through the rings, kicking all like
Someone needs to do a DVD on tapping. Snap off.
Oh yeah.
It misses by on us.
Who's got the flute tone now?
Yeah.
Man, that is struggling a bit.
This is naff.
So the dude who
That's
runs
enough of that.
the
That's
Jam channel puts the ads in the middle of the
Yeah,
thing.
that's a great backing track, but don't put adverts halfway through your backing track. Put them at the beginning
Mid rolls.
or right at the end.
Facebook
Although-
has started doing that, haven't they?
We are definitely checking out more of those tracks. Okay, we're going to play another one of those in a bit.
I don't really have any video
Um,
things. Sounds.
Guys, have you got any questions? That backing track, if you scroll up in the chat, you should be able to find it. Do I have a Miku pedal? No, I do not. I don't want one
If you went on the if you went on the backing track and then just let it play near the end and then took it back, would the ads not be there?
No, it's still there, I think.
Like they'd
The
put
weird
it in
thing
again.
is,
Yeah, it's Axefx synth, correct. So, yes.
by the way, Stacey Douglas, hi Stacey, hope you're doing well, asked if we are doing something different with the audio because it sounds way better, and yes we are.
Oh.
We're doing it a little bit different in terms of we're just running everything into one mixing desk. Although it does look like, the poor little thing looks like it's going to overheat any minute because everything is plugged into that desk.
Every hole.
Cool.
Every hole is plugged. So I'm glad it sounds better. How do you visualize chords all over the neck? That's a massive question. And both BB and I have tutorials on our websites about that. I hate to be the guy that does that and says, go and buy our tutorials. But it's just too big a question for a live stream. If you go to Tom Quayle, TOMQUAYLE.co.uk, or if you go, what's your website?
DavidBB.com.
Do you deal with chords?
Not in that tutorial. Well, I suppose you could, certainly relevant in terms of the method for. In terms of the method, it still works. Yeah.
There was a question earlier that caught my attention where they were asking, I don't know if you guys want to chat about this, but they were asking if we think guitarists are better now,
Sorry, Dave.
given all the material that's available. And I often think that people's technique is better now than ever because you're standing on the shoulders of giants, so you can see people like now on videos and within 10 seconds they're unleashing the kind of shred I could have only dreamt of as a kid.
Yeah.
Is it almost like the technology has moved on? It's not actually the technology, it's just
Well, it's just
that
when
is a bit more normal now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I don't know. It's just when I was a kid, I didn't know anybody who could sweep pick, so you had to go at trying to figure out how to do it, and I didn't really know anybody who's any good at tapping. So
The other thing is now you've got the internet, you can see all these people.
well, exactly.
There's not, I mean, there might have been loads of those guys.
So it's easier to acquire now, but I don't know if that means music's better. I think it probably isn't.
What was the question? There's some amazing music right now. I love Plini's stuff. I think he's phenomenal.
Yeah, Plini's good.
But that's just one genre. I mean, again, I think you can get far too into the mindset of guitar playing. There's some phenomenal music out there that guitar players are involved with that's not guitar music.
Yeah. I think because of the short attention span, I suppose the temptation is to blast all the time and not actually play a tune.
Who are you talking about now?
Just generally in terms of difference between now and then, like, because now it's a different kind of thing.
Yeah, you say that, but then not without naming any names. Some of the stuff that was released in the instrumental guitar world, if you listen to it now, it's dreadful music. Like yesterday, this is not dreadful music. What's his name? Jake Guy.
Yeah,
Man,
great stuff.
He can
What a guy.
Jake Guy. I had to share it with these guys. You might have seen it already, but I had to share it. It's like proper full-on shrapnel era stuff, and he's got like the fan in his hair and pink Ibanez. But I mean, I don't need a butt there. That's cool. But the guy can play his balls off, and the writing and the energy and the playing is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's great.
If you compare that to some of the stuff that came out in that era, and the way it was written, the way it was mixed, the quality of it, it's pretty poor, to be honest.
Have you heard,
I think there's a lot more quality these days.
Yeah, it's easy
just
to
that
look back.
It's kind of surrounded by a sea of poop as well, you know.
It's easy to look back with the rose-tinted glasses at that era and think that it's that it was all. I don't know. There's probably always been.
I think the great stuff is
There's
still
always
great.
been like a 7-year-old kid in India who's absolutely incredible throughout probably forever, but now you can actually see that 7-year-old kid in India, which we've not been able to do before. So the access to seeing all these people, these incredible musicians, is just there, isn't it? Where it wasn't in the 80s or 90s.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe. How many REH videos did you have when you were coming up?
Frequently.
I've still got all mine.
I had quite a lot. What did I have? I don't know if they were. I think they were REH.
Intense Rock.
I
You've
had
gotta
Terrifying
Yeah, I
Guitar
had
Trip.
that.
Yeah.
I had obviously Rock Discipline.
Paul Gilbert. Yeah, I've still got that.
That's not Paul Gilbert. That's Rock
Petrucci,
Discipline.
isn't
It's Petrucci.
Oh, is
How
it
can you not
Petrucci?
know that?
Oh yeah.
Even I knew that.
Leave.
Yeah, yeah, I've got that. And that's the one where he starts doing
You've
a warm-up.
just destroyed.
Doing
That's
It's one of
worse.
the outtakes where he
That's
just
worse
goes like
than
this.
my worst ever outburst
And then the
on
guy
social
goes,
media.
nailed it.
I'm only joking. What else did I have? I had some hilarious ones that weren't REH. I had one that was a Steve Vai style VHS. It wasn't Steve Vai. It was like a guy with a single humbucker Charvel with a USA flag on the front of it, going crazy through like some Marshalls. And like at the time, I loved it, absolutely adored it. Yeah, I had the Holdsworth video.
I've got the Holdsworth one. I've got
I
one
just
of
had
them,
that
you
for the
did
playing though, and I didn't learn anything from that.
too. I didn't
video.
understand it. So,
Who's the best guitarist of the bunch when trying? By the way, Stelios, I hope you're doing well, dude. I hope your son is well as well. Keep sending me those pictures. Who's the best guitarist of the bunch when trying to play lefty? Yeah, that's it. It was Mike Wolf, dude. Amazing. Yeah, that was a great video. I don't know if it was actually
I had a really
great, but
hilarious
I loved
one
it.
called The Two-Handed Guitarist. It was a tapping
Well, that's a
video.
remarkable thing.
I just remember just thinking, well, that's not really a unique selling point, is it?
Three-handed guitarist, that's something. But
I can't remember who that was by.
oh, dude.
Steve something or other.
Mike Wolf, amazing.
My favourite one from that era was the Richie Kotzen one.
Well, he played a
Which I
pinball
never-
machine at the
I
beginning.
never saw.
Where he's playing
What's
a
that
pinball.
about?
Yeah.
Which was
He
the Richie Kotzen
much
He had
pinball
so
machine.
much hair.
Richie.
He had so much hair you could hardly see his
But
face.
some of the stuff on that he plays on that was just
I've still rob a lick
Crazy.
from that quite regularly.
You brought up a really interesting point earlier on, though, or you did in relation to what Dave was saying. I remember having Guitar Techniques magazine, which was a real big innovation. Obviously, you had the CD and you could listen to. There's all this amazing tuition material, but the distinction was, I learned Last Minute by Greg Howe.
oh yeah.
Remember, it had this thing that you can't play in this tuning, but
Oh,
What's this one?
it wasn't. No, it was different. Whatever it was, but that was the first time I got into hammering on from nowhere.
oh, is it doing the kind of?
But the key, yeah. So some of the exercises, but that's not the point. The point was that there was so much new stuff in there that I'd never heard before, and it was amazingly inspirational. But you couldn't see him. What was really cool is you could hear him, and I thought he was the coolest sounding guy ever. And I didn't know what he looked like. There was no picture of him that I remember. There might have been. I don't think there was though. I don't think there was a picture of him.
Not for his.
And there
Which
was the
guy?
Greg Howe, was it? Oh, the guy that did the lesson.
that was one of the licks, wasn't it?
This one was another one.
No, it was this. I can't remember what it was, but
He went.
yeah.
Something like that. The out of that lot is the Brett Garsett one that I love.
Me too. Lock
But
around.
I could lock around it, but
I
could
learned
never
that
play
one.
it.
I
was
could
like
play that one.
Trying to do the four finger thing, I was like, no.
Yeah,
Who
that
did the
was hard.
lessons?
There was some amazing. We're just geeking out now. There was some amazing open string stuff in there as well. It was
Yeah.
just. If you've never heard, is it on Quid Pro Quo?
It's not exempt.
Exempt. If you've never heard the Brett Garsett and TJ Helmerich albums, particularly that one,
The
because it's a
Exempt
beautiful
is
album,
really,
and it's shreddy where it needs to be, but it's also beautifully
it's
melodic.
really, really good. It's one of my favourite
Yeah,
guitar
yeah.
records.
Have you heard that?
No.
You never heard a lot Rock? Brett Garsett's solo on that is one of the greatest things I've ever heard.
Yeah,
That's
obviously,
actually, I didn't realise it until many years later, but one of the biggest influences in my entire guitar playing life,
Yeah.
that particular solo. Because obviously that's formed the majority of my technical approach 15 years down the line.
I love it, and that's the difference between us two, because you persevered and you can play that stuff now, whereas I just tried it for about 3 weeks and went, no, I think
But
I'll
you can play the tapping bits from Last Minute though.
I
I
could,
can't.
you know,
But anyway, the
Yeah.
point was that you, like again with that, you couldn't see anything. So
Yeah.
you know, it was an innovation back then, but now if you want to learn Greg Howe's solo from Bird's Eye View, you could see it on YouTube. You can see everything he's doing. So no wonder people develop this stuff quicker.
you could tap him up on Skype. Get a
You
lesson.
can tap it on Skype, yeah.
Yeah.
Even better point, yeah. Scott Henderson's video, yeah, I had that one as well. Yeah,
He
man.
did a few, didn't he?
I have a feeling, and someone needs to check this, and maybe I can check it in a minute, that Mike Wolf went on to be a jazz educator and a fusion educator. Let me check this out.
I thought he was the transcriber.
I thought you were going to say something else.
No, that's Marshall Wolf. isn't
Marshall
it?
Wolf.
Ah, yeah.
Was it Marshall Wolf? Not Mike. It was Marshall
Well,
Wolf.
Marshall Wolf was the.
Marshall Wolf.
He did all the transcriptions for Guitar Player magazine. I wanna
Yeah,
say.
that's right.
Yeah.
Sure, he did the Surfing with the Alien tab.
Maybe, yeah.
No. That
Oh, no.
wasn't him.
Okay.
But the person I want to find and batter is the guy who did
Batter.
the transcription for pornography.
Oh, yeah.
Wolf Marshall, not Marshall Wolf.
I've got that book.
Wolf
Ah,
Marshall.
yeah.
Is that what you said?
Yeah, Wolf Marshall.
Wolf Marshall. Thank you.
Cool name. Come on.
Michael Norris knows his stuff.
He was there, man. He was there.
We've been streaming quite a while. Should we play another tune and then finish?
Yeah.
Because we need curry, guys.
Yeah.
Greg House. I never saw a Greg House video. I wish I had.
Is that the one with the taxi driver?
Yeah.
What? Who wrote these? Who wrote these
There's a track
storylines?
in G minor
It's like
called The
it's like
Love Boat.
porn level storyline writing,
Wolf
but a guitar
Marshall
player
was-
just turns up.
Maybe his brother played on the Starlicks.
I had the Lukather one. The young lad. The Love Boat.
Do you know what I'm not going to because there's adverts. in it.
Yeah, there's.
Let's have something jazzy.
Just object
Could
to
we have
that.
Whoa!
Something jazzy.
Whoa!
Something a bit jazzy.
Not too jazzy.
Yeah, sure, dude.
I mean, you know, like something that ends with the 5/7 sharp 9 at the turnaround, like it. Oh,
Yeah.
here we go.
Oh, what?
Just turn it around though, because I still haven't got it.
No, don't turn it round because I've got to play with that moment.
Disgusting people.
What's the problem? Look at his face. It was only a joke.
Quiet then.
Yeah.
It's a great backing track. Though.
He actually played it.
Yep, everything. We should give him a shout after this, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is going to help me. I'm trying to actually look at it.
I don't know where they are.
I've got a story about this afterwards, actually.
It's got already.
This is freaking me out.
Yeah.
Dan sounds pretty good on this. Damn good. That sounded great though.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Do the bronze thing.
It's like every time you land on a note, you
I know.
just move to the next one. It's like,
Nope, nope, nope. There you go. That is so annoying.
oh, Why? It just makes no sense. All right.
Whoops. Ah. That was just a joke. Right, let's play over something properly.
Horrible.
Okay,
fun.
chilled,
It's
soulful
not even
brew.
fun, mate. Dark Souls.
You sounded great over it though.
So, I don't know what
At
happened.
least you knew where you were in the progression.
I had to, because I had to really concentrate. Green shirt rules.
Green shirt. It's in A.
It's a bit cheeky, this.
Hold on. Stelios has sent something. Where is it? Oh, I quite like this actually. Happy to play this?
Yeah. What is it? What's it?
Stelios, it's not arrived. Well, did you send it on Facebook? Oh, dude, that's. That's D minor when it gets to that bit. You know that weird turning chords it gets to D minor. That's D minor. Huh? Why has he sent me the link to the guitar?
What's the key, sorry?
Down. If you want.
Oh, nice. Oh. The best chord change ever.
Yeah, man.
Ever.
Yeah, I agree.
Ah. Infringing there, bud. Woo!
Oh, you cheeky mother. Whoops.
Oh. like that.
That chord's not written right. There's no way that was an F sharp major 7.
Is it dominant 7? Going to the B minor? Oh yeah. So good. Yeah, listen out for it this time.
It's just so awesome. Thanks, Blake. Ketav, it's called Visualizing the Fretboard. Yeah, I don't think that's right though.
I think it's dominant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I need less gain. All right, guys, we're going to go for a curry. Thank you so much for joining us. The backing track was from. Hang on.
Yeah, I want that.
Hang on.
I'm going to use that in the future. To my
It was
beginnings.
from Elevated Jam Tracks on YouTube. Elevated Jam Tracks.
Shout out. To
And
them.
actually, the guy makes amazing backing tracks, but sells the backing tracks on Bandcamp as well, so you guys can check that out as well. So, thanks so much for joining us, guys. Just for this fun stream, we're going to go for a curry. Anything anyone needs to know about before we go? BB's going climbing Everest.
Oh yeah.
Overinflating that.
He's going
I'm
to look
going to
at
be away
Everest
for three
from
weeks
afar.
or so. Well, I'm going to stand at the bottom of it, or halfway up it at least. And yeah, should be fun.
Excellent.
You're going to climb to the top like Brian
So-
Blessed.
Say goodbye to BB. You'll probably never see him again.
Yeah,
Well, you
bye-bye.
might see him with a frosty beard on Facebook or something. I don't know.
Being rescued by his wife.
They'll make a film. They'll make a film about him in 20 years' time. All right, guys. Thanks very much. I'm going to stop the stream. Let me take my microphone off before carnage ensues. Look at you guys having plenty of room. Oh, this is complicated.